If you're a sub listening to this and you want to get dommed so hard that you question whether or not you are actually a sub because it's concerning, we're the guys for the job. But consensual and will never hurt you. But you might get concerned at some points.
And we'll hurt you if you want it. Nice. And,
Is that how we're starting?
Yeah.
God damn. That was almost an aftershock.
Earthquake, son?
Earthquake, son, aftershock. Have you heard of them?
Yo, what's up, son? I'm Aftershock.
The new comedic sensation that's sweeping the nation.
I like starting all our podcasts with a
real stretch of a stand-up comedy reference.
Oh, that too. I was gonna say Ebonics.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
what's
going
up,
to say
son?
nicotine mints.
That too. Nicotine mints are great. But, I'm Earthquake, son, Aftershock.
I'm Aftershock. Get ready to get shocked by my earthquake.
He's just got a taser.
Yeah.
Get ready to get shocked, son.
He looks exactly like his father. Have you seen Earthquake's comedy?
None, although I've been meaning to for a while.
That's an interesting bucket list item. You're going through. Did you ever remember that shitty movie, The Bucket List?
Yeah, with Morgan Freeman and what's his name?
Some old white fuck.
Was it
like we gotta have an old white guy to pair with the old black guy?
That wasn't Bruce Willis, was it?
It probably was.
I think it was.
That sounds familiar.
I just saw Die Hard in the last 6 months.
For the first time. I still haven't seen it.
It's very good. It's a Christmas movie. It's coming up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not to date ourselves, but this is before Christmas.
Yeah.
A good while before.
I was born before Christmas.
So was everyone.
To date myself.
Everyone who wasn't born on Christmas was born before Christmas. Even those born on Christmas.
My birthday's December 13th. The fans can send me some Adam and Eve sponsored sex gear or something like that.
Yeah, that would be good.
Vibrating anal beads. I could get into that. Probably not.
Adamant Eve. That would be like if Eve from Adam and Eve was a Wolverine. Because he's made of adamantium.
Holy fuck. That was a stretch. I wasn't getting that at all.
Adamant Eve. RuneScape fans will like that one.
Shout out to RuneScape fans.
Shout out RuneScape fans.
We might stream something someday.
Yeah, I got a fire cape.
Even if it's porn. The world wouldn't want to see that.
This is what we were talking about before the start of the podcast. Not RuneScape. I almost got into this threesome last night through Field. Matched with this girl.
Field with 2 E's.
Field with 2 E's and a D at the end.
Do you get a sense of where Field stacks up in the dating app hierarchy these days? Are there a lot of people on it?
I think it's 4th best.
Okay, that's not bad.
1 is Hinge.
Even more than Tinder.
By far.
Really?
I'm so sad that I'm banned off Hinge. I'm actually remorseful.
And please tell the people who are clamoring right now to judge you morally. Why are you banned off of Hinge?
I don't know why I'm banned on Hinge. I think it's, if I had to hazard a guess, because they didn't give me a warning. They didn't say this is why you're banned from Hinge because you said whatever.
Yeah, fucked up and Orwellian.
Yeah, I even tried to appeal it. Nothing.
Yeah. It's not like you beheaded somebody.
No, well I did, but that's behind. I didn't do that on Hinge.
That was Reddit.
Yeah, and there's no extradition to Hinge, so.
What do you think you did?
I think it was probably this message. It's not good that I already have one pinpointed, but I think it's probably this one.
It's definitely the one where I, called her a cunt 40 times in a row.
I don't even remember because this was like 6+ months ago. I think it was because when you're on Hinge, you like someone and you can choose to send a message with the like before you've matched.
Yeah.
Risky business.
Oh, yeah.
So I liked it, and I wrote something. It was something about, like, it was even like a prompt and not even a picture. And it was something about, like, oh, I liked, I'm a foodie. So I'm like, I like going to eat a lot of different foods. I like going out and trying different foods. And I was like, oh, I'd eat you.
Yeah, you fucking precious snack, you.
Yeah, and apparently...
I'd slurp you right up.
Yeah, and apparently things are very literal these days. I wouldn't eat her. Not before cooking her.
Yeah, she probably has eating paranoia, a fear of being eaten by
Yeah.
a man, literally.
Yeah. Which, of all the eating disorders, that's probably the best one to have.
It's a healthy one to have.
Yeah, it's healthier.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
You
healthy.
are a big guy.
I'm a big guy. How did I get this big? Not eating people.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
That's how giants always get big.
So I was on field. I was talking to this girl. We matched. We started talking right away.
Oh, by the way, sorry, I will just interject because one, you're not the worst guy in the world. You're not Adolf Hitler.
No, I'm second worst.
I got to stick up for you on this one.
Thank you.
I feel like saying "I'd eat you" is, it can be perceived as creepy. Any unsolicited, flirtatious message to a stranger has some inherent creepiness baked into the cake.
And I'm not going to go out and say that it's a normal flirtatious thing to say.
Yeah, but it's like a cute, funny, silly one.
Yeah, it was playful.
You're not being like, I'd eat your ass.
No,
I was a little more on the nose.
I wasn't even going Army Hammer about it, where it's like, oh, I want to drink your blood.
Yeah, I want to eat you literally.
Yeah. No, I was just like, I'd eat you up. Some shit like that.
Yeah. And banned.
Yeah.
From Hinge.
No appeal. Well, appeal, but denied.
That's unbelievable. Are you sure you weren't like sleepwalking and sent 40 dick pics?
It's been a while since I've taken Ambien, and it hasn't been correlated at all with Hinge.
Yeah. I got dinged on Bumble.
For what?
Fortunately, they did not. But remember I had the bit about, I couldn't figure out whether or not this girl was trans.
Yeah.
So at some point I just literally had to ask out of practical. I didn't see any other way around it. I'm like, this girl is cute enough that I would, maybe be interested.
Yeah.
But I can't figure out whether or not they're a man or a woman.
Yeah.
And you can't say, "Are you a man?" Because they don't identify as a man.
Yeah.
But I want to know what your genitalia is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I forget what they listed their gender as in their bio too. Because I think it was just the whole thing was weirdly ambiguous.
Yeah.
It was like they were just clearly like
maybe like genderqueer or something like that.
Trying to be perceived as a woman and didn't want there to be any chance. But I'm like, well then if you're interested in straight guys, how am I gonna know one way or the other?
Yeah.
So it's like, do you have a penis? ?
Good question.
I feel like it's,
straight and to the point.
It really is in getting straight to there, right?
And it's a good bit too.
It's a deal breaker.
It's a good bit.
Thank you.
Of your Bumble bits, it's my favorite of your Bumble bits. You have a lot of Bumble bits.
I immediately got unmatched, and then the next morning I got a formal warning from Bumble.
Well, that's how you do it. You formally warn before you ban.
Exactly. Hinge, come on.
Jesus
What
Christ.
is this, fucking the Gestapo?
Yeah, what is this? Biden's America?
I watched a CBS Sunday morning segment on Lena Khan. She's the chair of the FTC.
James Caan's daughter?
Yes. James Caan's daughter, who happens to be
Con Man?
Middle Eastern.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh, like Wrath of Khan.
Middle Eastern American. That cannot be a fucking kosher term. Middle East. I'm a Middle Eastern American.
I'm sure it's fine. I mean, just pick a place American.
Yeah.
Italian American.
Yeah.
African American.
What is it? Kind of like a lot of people used to call Asian people Oriental.
That's not all they call them either.
Arabic? I don't think Arabic's a thing.
You want to get canceled from SNL quick? They also called Asians other things.
Sure. But no, that she's an American. She's clearly of either Indian descent or one of those countries approximate to the Middle East. India's not even the Middle East, but she's she's this high-powered lawyer woman. She's like was like one of the best lawyers, and she decided. Then they appointed her chairman of it, and basically her entire job is to try to keep very close tabs on Amazon. Like any company that they think might be trying to form a monopoly or trying to manipulate, and basically she's gone to war with Amazon.
Keep an eye on Boardwalk.
Yes, seriously. Well, they also made a board game called what the fuck is it called? I think it's called Anti-Monopoly or something. So it's like same style of game, but it's all about breaking up monopolies.
I think these Bushwick girls that you're looking for on Hinge would like that.
I think they would too. Yeah.
You should put in your profile, how about we play a game of anti-monopoly
for
a first date?
100%.
First date idea, anti-monopoly.
Yeah. You guys want to play a game of super Marxism?
Super Marxio Brothers?
Yeah. They'd be really into that.
Yeah.
You want to watch me dress up like Karl Marx? I'll fuck you like Karl Marx.
And I'll be Chico Marx.
Slut.
Wouldn't that be funny if somebody had a buddy comedy with Karl Marx and Groucho Marx?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be hysterical. that would sell out worldwide.
It practically writes itself.
If you think about it, yeah. Angles, interestingly. I was watching another... I'm just going to talk about documentaries I've seen and never
I got to get
them.
back to the field story at some point.
Lena Khan.
Okay. Wrath of Khan.
Was basically like... The FTC has the power to sue companies, which is crazy. This is one of the things that Trump's regime is they're like trying to make is that the government has way less power to do anything.
FTC, Federal Trade Commission?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they can literally just come out of nowhere, and they're not democratically elected either. And just be like, we're suing Amazon for $200 billion because they decided that Amazon was breaking the rules. And on the one hand, I can see the like potential issues with oversight and like who's gonna regulate them. That you can't regulate, they're not democratically elected.
Yeah. On
the other hand, how else can you do it? Like, who else is gonna keep Amazon in check if it's not this independent entity that has some authority?
Yeah. And nothing to gain from suing them.
Because Amazon now, like, all the companies that she's had lawsuits against the big pharma companies trying to get them from buying up like small town pharmacies and stuff like that. She's gotten death threats. They like have her on like lists and fucking things.
Wow.
But she's a big reason why some of these companies haven't gotten even more powerful than they are.
Makes sense.
And she was saying like Amazon, they literally have the power to, if they want, they control the search algorithm completely.
On Amazon.
Yeah. So they can make, like, if you cross Amazon for whatever, you can be a small business owner. Mm-hmm. Your whole profit model could be selling things on Amazon.
Yeah.
And the next thing, they just make it so that your name never comes up. And
it's like YouTube or anything like that. You
can't sell anything.
Yeah.
Because Amazon's the biggest vendor in the world. If you're not selling on Amazon, you're going to have a tough time marketing yourself.
It's true.
You know? So, like, I feel like Jeff Bezos, I don't know. How much, like, do you feel like, I feel like I have a read on Musk at this point, but I haven't watched enough on Bezos to know.
He seems more lizard-like.
That was very anti-Semitic.
I mean...
He's not Jewish, so it doesn't matter.
Call a spade, you know?
Is he Jewish?
They all are.
He acts Jewish. Yeah.
We love the Jews. We support Israel.
You're 25% Jewish, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but it's all the wrong sides.
And I've had a Jewish friend a few times.
Yeah, briefly, when you found out.
Yeah, until I found out no.
Yeah, right to the ovens.
Yeah, I don't know with it. He seems to be more of like a real businessman. Like, he probably gets high. He probably like looks at himself in the mirror and it's like, I'm the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
And it comes on his chest.
That's my impression.
Yeah. But I don't know if it comes from like a world domination thing. I think he literally just wants to have like the biggest company.
Which is often how it seems. Trump is that way. It seems like they're just narcissists who want to be the big guy.
Yeah, well, it gets very dangerous when a guy like that, like that was the Hitler thing, is he's a dude with absolute power who wanted to make some real changes.
Yeah.
Like he had a specific ideological agenda.
Yeah. I
feel like Trump has a very loose ideological agenda.
Yeah, it's never like an Andrew Yang who has that Hitler personality. It's never a guy who's like, I want all the power in the world, but I want to give everybody some money.
Yeah, I want to have all the power in the world so that I can do good with it.
Nobody does that.
Almost nobody, no.
It's part of, we were talking earlier about bundles of traits that come with a personality type, and it's probably one of those.
Well, it's brutal to get all the power in the world. To get all the power in the world, you have to be, like, working 80 hours a week. Like, you have to be this obsessive freak.
Yeah.
You know, who's just, like, just gets high on superiority and rising to the top of the dominance hierarchy.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I mean, if there's one good, it's kind of good and bad about Trump. It's like, because he is so swayable, there's no way to fully predict his behaviors.
Yeah.
So theoretically he could be swayed for something that's terrible.
Yeah.
He could have somebody like Putin or like a bad actor sway him. But at least he's not a known commodity in the sense of like, well, we know that Trump wants to carpet bomb the Middle East and take all their oil. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Now that it's like, does he have any closet, really maniacal agendas? Or is it really just about staying in power?
If Trump is in the closet, I swear to God, I take back my vote.
That would be awesome.
I'd give my vote right to him.
There would be no funnier news story than Trump, on a leaked tape.
That would be so great. Dude,
like,
Trump getting fucked in the ass.
Oh my God, that guy's so hot.
Just Trump moaning to getting fucked in the ass.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
It's kind of like Gillis's assassination noise bit.
Yeah.
But him getting fucked would be even crazier. It'd be the same noise, really.
Yeah.
Deeper, almost. Oh, it's my prostate.
Keep fucking me, Shane.
Please.
What if Shane's the guy fucking him?
He'd do a good job.
Yeah.
Shane probably fucks hard.
He seems like
He's got that build.
He's got that tackle build.
Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about...
Getting fucked in the ass by Shane Gillis?
Well, obviously you've thought about
Who
that.
hasn't?
Optimizing thrust, speed, and power?
I have not calculated that. Nor do I have the free time.
Well, you ever watch porn and feel like...
Yes.
Like some guys in porn, they don't know how to fuck. Not every porn star.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? Like some porn stars, it's like, oh shit! Like they're like, this is clearly like an athlete who like is fucking at a rate that is almost unconscionable. You know?
Yeah, there's a tempo to it.
You got to have a lot of fucking stamina.
Yeah.
And like back dexterity to jackhammer to this extent.
I'm always surprised when I'm watching Japanese porn and the guys fucking stamina out the wazoo. Now they're calculating speed versus thrust.
Yeah.
They're running all those calculations.
Yeah.
And they're maximizing their efficiency and duration.
Yeah, you can be like a giant dumb white guy in Japan, or you can be like a genius Asian guy.
Yeah.
Just fucking,
Talk about
angles.
Talk about proving that it's the motion of the ocean.
You can also be a giant Asian guy. You can be Yao Ming.
Yeah.
And have weird sex.
Or a sumo wrestler.
Sumo wrestlers?
Yeah.
Probably fuck like crap. But this was, I don't know, some guys like...
I really don't think they fuck like crazy.
Not at all. I think they get 2 thrusts and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Sumo wrestlers are wild. They're just like a fucking cannonball shot.
I know. I've been watching some of the sumo tournaments.
Fun. Yeah.
They've got them on, I think, Freevee or something like that.
It's like fighting a bull.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to get charged with 400 pounds of rapid movement.
Of rapid pancakes.
And then, if that doesn't kill you, which it probably will, you win.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, they've been putting it on the TV at the Grizzly Pear, and I'll just, like, walk in and out of the mic, do it, like, I'll do my set and then walk back out and, like, watch sumo fights.
Really?
It's great.
What a weird thing to put up there.
It's just the bartenders who are just like, yeah, fuck it, sumo's on, that's awesome.
That's, like, the most guy thing ever.
Yeah, and the bartenders are comics.
Yeah.
So...
But I don't know, do you, I wonder if not all guys can fuck equally hard, or some guys just, it's a psychological thing.
Like, I don't know, I think it's probably physical. I mean, psychology might prevent or enable one to be able to use their physical power. Because some porn
dudes, I'll watch porn, there's like some jack dude who looks like he can fuck a girl into the center of the earth.
Yeah.
And it'll just be like slow, plodding thrusts.
Well, it's
and
the
I'll
kind
see
of
a guy
thing...
who looks like me fuck a girl, like, out of her mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this dude just built differently?
Well, some of it also
or
is
trying harder.
It's almost like dancing. I think, which is possibly the gayest analogy I could have used.
It's like dance. Sex really is like dancing.
It's like a waltz.
You know, it's all about rhythm.
Well, honestly, a lot of it's about rhythm. It's about not just like your overall physique, but how you can use your hips specifically.
I was gonna say.
And how you can juxtapose like moving forward with one part of your body in another direction with another part. It's very weird.
This is my overarching theory, and it's basically an advertisement for my own sexual prowess.
I'm listening.
Because I feel like
Is there a coupon?
Yeah, I do. I noticed this in jiu-jitsu too, because I had so many men on top of me.
Lucky.
And the guys who looked the strongest, and even some of the guys who could lift the most weights in the gym, were not always the guys who would actually be the most physically forceful.
Yeah.
When you're grappling with them.
Yeah.
Some dudes have weird types of strength.
Yeah.
Whether it's joint strength or fast twitch muscle fibers, where like grip strength is a big one. Like there's some guys who like they're not that built, but they're like they have like osprey hands. Like they'll grab your arm and you can't move it. It's like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what just grabbed me?
And that brings up the point that a lot of guys who lift are typically more focused on the aesthetic muscles.
Yeah, well, muscle mass in general, it correlates to muscle strength, but it's lifting for mass and lifting for strength are two different processes.
Yeah.
It's why, Mr. Olympia, those are like the most jacked guys in the world.
Yeah.
They're not the world's strongest men.
No, you'd probably be more close to like a swimmer or something like that where you use all of your muscles.
Well, specifically for strength, and if you actually watch like World's Strongest Men competitions, which I jerk off to daily.
Oh, thank God. Someone has to.
They are built in a very specific way. And they're pretty jacked, but they're not like steroids, Dwayne Johnson level jacked.
Yeah.
But they're usually huge. They usually have really broad shoulders. And a lot of times they're like they'll have like a belly. You know, they're not like super fit per se, but they're just like big shoulders, big, strong hit. Like their body's just meant for carrying things.
Interesting.
Yeah. But hips, yeah. The speed it would being able to move your hips quickly is that's like an isolatable trait. Doesn't necessarily correlate with how big or how jacked you are.
That makes sense.
And wrestlers usually, the hips are very important muscle for wrestling.
Yeah.
Because you got to fucking spring off the mat and shit like that. And I used to wrestle ladies. So there's a chance, you know. This hasn't been proven. I haven't put a radar gun during all the sex that I've had.
Yeah.
Which is, I would say it's prolific would be an understatement.
Yeah, plentiful, bountiful.
Yeah.
There's a surplus for sure.
But I don't know. I think I'm going to have a decent stroke game when it comes to.
Yeah, fair.
When the moments arrive.
Yeah, it's a learned skill like anything.
Yeah. Have you ever been insecure
about how I fuck?
Yeah, just the act of fucking it, because there's like
I'm only insecure when I'm out of shape.
Okay.
Because it's like if I don't fuck or like if I don't exercise for a while, I've been doing push-ups and sit-ups lately. That's usually all I walk a lot. But that's really all I do. And if I don't do push-ups and sit-ups for a while, I can tell I'm just weaker.
Interesting.
And like in order to fuck well, you're hoping to fuck for at least like 15 minutes. And to be actively fucking for 15 minutes will really take it out of me if I'm out of shape.
So you find it's more of a stamina issue than like
absolutely,
a strength
dude.
issue.
My legs buckle. My fucking legs get so tired. I'm almost like about to fall over, but I have to force myself to stay up. My arms get tired from just like being on not on all fours. I'm not getting fucked, but like whatever. Fuck. How do you fuck again? I guess you're holding yourself up with your arms.
How do I have sex?
I'm thinking like missionary, you're holding yourself up a bit.
Yeah.
That'll take out your arms. Doggy style is easier, but then your legs are getting all the brunt of it.
I have a bit of kind of, I don't know where the fuck it's going, but it's something to the tune of like, I'm trying to be a better dom, you know? Trying to like fuck harder, trying to like, because doming is it's a talent.
Yeah.
You can get better at it, but not every guy has been like, they should teach fitness classes, you know, for building up those muscles.
Yeah.
Like there should be some gym where they just have a bunch of tables set up and you just have to fuck the table so hard.
That's not even the crux of doming, though. Most of it's psychological. Most of it's like you have to be a dom psychologically.
Of course.
And that takes incredible confidence.
Yes.
And not to toot my own horn, but to you have to like I didn't get it.
We're both like top tier Sigma Alpha Omega Dom off the scale. Like we could fucking dom a tiger.
I like that you just threw in 3 different Greek symbols. You're like, we're Sigma, Alpha, Omegas, Betas.
We're like super S tier plus off the scale.
Yeah, we're like Omicron Pi, Mu News.
If you're a sub listening to this and you want to get dommed so hard that you question whether or not you are actually a sub because it's concerning, we're the guys for the job. But consensual and will never hurt you. But you might get concerned at some point.
And we'll hurt you if you want it.
We'll hurt you real bad.
But that's the thing. When I was first with my ex, who was more into BDSM, the ex was a heroin addict. She got me into dom sub stuff. I'd never done anything like that.
Yeah.
And she wanted to have like a master slave relationship, where it's like whenever I want, I could just tell her what to do and she would do it.
Yeah.
And that took getting used to.
The word slave is so charged.
It's so charged. I've tried talking about it on stage. I used to have bits that, like, early when I was writing before I got on stage. I was like, what if I do a bit about how I want to have a master-slave relationship, but black girls don't like that?
Right, yeah.
Neither do Jewish girls. Hashtag Egypt.
Anything other than, your white girlfriend identifying as a slave.
Yeah, well, she was half Puerto Rican and half Jewish.
But I'm sure there's interracial chicks that are into that.
I'm sure there's some of that's, like, legitimately for the purpose that it is charged.
Yeah.
But
well, there are people that like they call each other racial slurs in the bedroom.
So often there are like white girls who will hook up with a black guy.
There's like mainstream porn where white women will call their black porn star the N-word. I'm like, what was that?
That's so funny.
That's crazy.
Damn, dude. So I have to do porn.
You got to get fucked by black guys first. Well, black dudes are usually into it. They usually don't skip a beat because they're getting pussy.
Well, that's what I've
fuck what you call me if I'm fucking.
That's generally what I've heard from, like, if a black dude hooks up with a white chick and she asks that, or, like, not even if she wants to say it, but she's like, oh, I want you to say it. Like, that you're going to fuck me with your N-word dick or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, all right, whatever. Like, especially if they're saying it, it's not as bad as if she was saying it.
Now imagine that role reversal.
Yeah.
You're a white guy with the black girlfriend. Not nearly as cool.
She's like, I want you to fuck me with your N-word dick.
You're like, I don't have one, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'll have to go out to the store quick.
You want my cracker ball sack? I got one of those.
But
yeah, I feel I'm definitely I have the dom psychology. Like I can be a twisted fuck.
Same. I cannot be a sub either.
Never.
No,
I'm trying to get my physique to align with the persona.
You don't need to. It's more dominating if you're just whoever you are. I heard this about, like, women might sometimes think it's hotter if a guy, like, smells bad, because, like. He's still confident.
This sounds like some weird incel.
I know, this does sound super incel.
Yeah.
But if he's, like, confident... I was hearing this from, like, some female comic who's bigger on a podcast, I think.
Yeah.
And it was, like, there's something about being confident and, like, looking funny or, like, smelling bad where it's, like, or, like, having a unibrow. That's what it was. It's like, oh, you don't even... It's so hot that you're such a man that you don't even know you're disgusting.
There are women that are into that.
Yeah, because it's almost like you're more masculine because you're not concerned at all with your physical appearance.
You know who Anthony Davis is?
No.
One of the best players in the NBA, and they call him the Brow. He looks like a fucking alien. He is such a weird looking guy, Anthony Davis. He's black. I don't know if he has any, anything else in
your Middle Eastern or
what
Jewish
his
or
mix
Greek
is, but he's a very interesting looking fella. But he's had a unibrow his whole career. He's just kept the unibrow, even though he makes hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
but I'm sure he gets plenty of pussy.
I used to have a unibrow, basically not like a full-fledged single brow,
really?
But like a lot of hair between.
Do you shave it?
I pluck it on a daily basis.
Dude, that's what's up.
What's up, bro. But I was in middle school. And I'd get made fun of for it a little bit by girls I liked. They would call me Caterpillar and shit like that.
Yeah.
This one girl specifically.
So you did not adopt this philosophy of let me be as gross as possible.
No, because early on I was like, well, yeah, it's just what I'm stuck with. But then my mom was like, oh, you could get it waxed. Or you could pluck it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, getting it waxed is gay. That was my first thought. I'm in 9th grade. I was like, I can't go to a nail salon and get my eyebrows waxed.
There is something very gay about getting waxed,
yes.
isn't there? Even though it's the same means to an end.
That being said, I started off plucking it. At some point, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'll just get it waxed.
What do you pluck with?
Tweezers.
And how often do you have to do this?
I do it every day to keep it maintained.
So it'll literally it'll grow in a little bit.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of growing in now.
Dude, we should do this on YouTube someday. We'll do plucking tutorials. Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
How to stave off your unibrow.
Yeah, how to get a glow up as a dude.
Yeah.
But
I agree. No, you don't. Obviously, you can like be dominant in the bedroom and turn a girl on. But I have noticed that there are a lot of women, a lot of the subby type of women who I'm not into starfish at all.
No,
that really turns me off. Some guys are into that. I like to be with a switch.
Yeah, because you and I are lazy.
I wouldn't say it's that. I like a woman who can match my intensity and passion in the bedroom.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want her to ultimately submit to me.
Yeah. But they can submit and still be matching your intensity and passion.
Yeah, they're
just
not,
by moaning and speaking.
They're not just like the fucking Japanese porn.
Yeah.
Where they're just like submissive little
yeah.
dolls.
Let you do what you want and move on.
Sounds like you're into that, buddy.
Anything Japanese.
But no, I would never want to get, and I'm cool with abdicating control. I like when a woman takes over sometimes too.
Oh yeah, sure.
But not to the point where they're ever dominating me. That would be an instant turn off.
I recently let somebody choke me because I was like, she was into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll try it. Hands on the throat's fine.
Yeah.
Any pressure is like, well, first of all, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
Second of all, this is so fake.
Yeah, exactly.
You're 5'1".
It's clearly role play.
Yeah, I'm clearly allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like it just doesn't really hit.
Well, that's interesting you mentioned that because I struggle with role play in general.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not huge into it. I haven't done much.
So I don't. It just doesn't. It's weirdly because I'm a creative guy.
Yeah.
And I love acting and performing. And,
yeah.
But with by comparison, I'm weirdly vanilla with sex.
It's harder to do stuff that seems real. And you can get weird.
That's
and
what
do
I
real.
mean. Yeah.
Like,
I like the primal, animalistic aspect of it.
Yeah.
Or, it can be very romantic. But the minute that you start adding costumes, accessories,
any level of fakeness,
acting, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, it's almost it's like nobody likes a fake
show and tell.
Yeah, nobody
Get
likes
that butt plug away from me.
Nobody likes when you fake an orgasm. I'm not gonna like if you're a nurse.
Speak for yourself. Bud.
I actually had a very old joke too. That was like, how am I supposed to like role play? What, I'm really gonna trust this ridiculous girl I'm dating to be a nurse? It's like, what's she gonna come up to me and be like, all right, time to check you out with my stethoscope.
Yeah.
It's like, you just said stethoscope.
My heroin addict girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
Time to give you another morphine injection.
But that, you know what? Maybe I am into it, actually.
Yeah.
No, but there's I'd rather do different weird shit. Like, dressing up as a nurse or a doctor is not fun to me. I would, however, be open to pissing on a girl.
Do you think you could get into it?
Pissing on someone?
Yeah, like
100%.
Interesting.
100%. There's really no downsides on my side.
Just the smell of urine in the air.
I piss on the toilet.
Yeah, but you don't have to. It doesn't stay there.
No,
and the water dissipates.
You only ever piss on somebody in the shower
who's immediately about to bathe.
No, they're in the shower. What are you going to piss on your own bed?
Well, they're at least in the tub.
Yes.
But some chicks like to let it sit on them and stuff.
Sure, that would be fine.
Yeah.
But they would bathe right after.
I'm just so grossed out. Well, you're less grossed out by like shit and stuff than I am.
Less, still very.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would never want to shit on a woman.
No. Well, my thing is,
they're paying for it.
I just like fucked up things sexually.
The taboo.
I like anything fucked up. The smell would really be the problem with shit.
Yeah. I don't like fucked up things.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, not that fucked up is relative,
Sure.
right?
So it's fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
Your relatives.
As long as their head stays on their neck.
Yeah.
I'm cool. But yeah, I mean, like, I can obviously, like, slapping girls around or joking or whatever the fuck. Like, that's almost blasé these days.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what people mean when they say kinky.
No.
Just that you're, like, a dominant man.
Yeah, it's so, people ask, like, on stage, they're like, stand-ups will ask, like, oh, are you into kinky stuff? And then somebody's like, yeah, I like getting choked.
Yeah, and it's like,
that's not what we mean.
Bitch, this isn't 1960.
Exactly.
Okay? Do you like piss or do you not like piss?
Funny enough, somebody asked at a mic once when I was in the audience, they were like, is anybody kinky? And I was like, yeah, kinda. And they were like, what would you want to do? And I was like, I'd piss on a bitch. And he was just like, all right, that's further than I wanted.
You're just being very earnest about it.
It'd be very honest. And also I knew it would be the funny answer. But it's like, it is still true. Like, I could have said more benign things, but that is the kinkiest thing.
You could have said more benign things. You also could have said way worse things.
Oh, yeah. I like shitting in a girl's mouth.
Yeah. I like nailing a girl to a cross and lighting her on fire.
Yeah, I like cutting a baby out of a stomach and then eating it.
Army Hammer, shout out.
Yeah, this is why I got banned from Hinge.
Yeah. Sending all these messages.
Yeah, with photos.
Yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I get the piss thing. It makes perfect sense psychologically with the whole dom sub.
It's all in the dom lineup.
I'm just too grossed out by urine.
Fair.
I'm not. I don't liquid. I don't like when girl. Like I'm not into like super squirters or anything like that.
Wow, I love that, dude.
You're like, bro.
The wetter, the better.
It's like I just said I don't like ice cream or something.
I'm so glad. I just found a new rhyme for the wetter the better.
Yeah,
it's so good.
You like you got a slip and slide.
Well, this is something I thought was universal that I found out quickly by saying it on stage was not. I like seeing inside a vagina. Yeah. Like, as deeply inside of a vagina as possible.
Into the eye of the storm.
To the point that I had a girl she happened to have a speculum as a sex toy because she was kinky.
That's so fucking gross.
And she put it in her pussy and opened it and sent me a photo with the flash on. Yeah. And I still have it and still look at it.
Yeah, it's months ago. Right there, framed on your wall. Yeah.
It's my background on my phone.
On all your devices.
It's my profile picture on Instagram.
Yeah. Nah, dude. I'm just queasier.
That's most people.
By the way, I'm not shaming anybody. I'm not yucking anybody's yum.
No.
And if you happen to be in the minuscule percentage of women who squirt like Old Faithful, okay? Because there's a lot of squirting in porn that is fake, as we know.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not your fault. And I could totally fuck a girl like that. But it wouldn't be a preference. It wouldn't be a preference for a girl to just be projectile genital liquid
ladies,
all over the place.
I'm open.
A lot of guys are. That's like why it's one of the most popular genres.
Yeah, I've heard Joe List talk about this a lot on his podcast. He's like, don't you wish women could like really cum? Like, doesn't it sound so good if you were like fucking a guy and then you just get a big load of cum? Yeah. And he's just like, wouldn't that be great from a woman? You don't get anything. You just want like a big fucking wad of cum on your face.
Cum flowing out of a vagina though sounds repulsive to me. You love it.
Yep. I don't know where you went wrong in life.
Yeah. Well, if it's my cum, that's, it is what it is. But not, I mean, like...
Mine cum.
Yeah.
Mine cum.
Correct Hitler translation. Yeah. But no, so you're saying, like, if a woman could just nut like a man, you'd be into it.
I mean, not like a man.
Because it has a masculine association.
Not even. I like squirt. It's perfect.
Interesting.
But you can also, like, it's something you have to make happen for most people.
I'm cool with, like, leak.
Sure.
I'm cool with, like, droplets coming. I just don't like the fucking pow.
You know what I don't like is the creaminess. That doesn't get me as much as the, like, transparent fluid cum.
Well, as the great Cupcake once said.
I don't know Cupcake.
I genuflect at the altar of this woman. The rapper Cupcake. She has the famous song Deep Throat. You look it up. It's incredible.
I thought it was a CIA operation.
It's both.
Okay.
But she poignantly once said, "I'm not a squirter, I cream." That's a hard bar. But that's an ick for you.
Yeah, not my thing.
Really? I don't mind that at all.
It's fine. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I like It feels like the transparent fluid's like an extension of wetness. The cream is like, oh, that's something else.
That's something else.
And it looks like cum. Like guy cum. Man cum, as Lil Wayne would say.
That's a Lil Wayne line?
Like man cum. I read your face like man cum.
I don't even know.
You ain't word softer than Roseanne, son.
We're learning a lot about rap.
This is from Steady Mobbin', maybe the best song ever.
Damn.
Man, fuck these.
Shout out to Lil Wayne.
Yeah, dude.
Underrated. I don't even know what's going on with him these days.
A few Lil Wayne songs and a few Eminem songs were my middle school soundtrack. Just while playing Modern Warfare 2 and shit with friends.
That makes sense.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it seems too close to pee. That's probably what it is. The clear liquid.
That's fair.
And then there's there could be some piss in there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they come out of the same hole. I don't know what the fuck.
I'm not afraid of piss.
We're going down a rabbit hole now.
Yeah.
We're going down the whole squirting anatomy. There's all kinds of incel science about that.
Yeah.
Squirting's just pee. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise.
Let's move on.
Let's talk about field.
Yeah, fair. Because people have had the discussion about whether squirt is pee enough. I hear it all the time at open mics.
I don't even give a shit.
Nor do I. I'd be fine. I'm fine with either.
Clearly you don't.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, so on field... This is the weird thing. I was talking to this girl. It quickly turned from talking into she was with her friend on field talking to people that night, getting drunk off Tito's and Sprite. And she was like,
That's already the grossest part of this story.
It didn't sound that bad to me, honestly, but I used to hang out with our mutual friend who would only drink Tito's and soda.
Have some fucking class, okay? Put some soda water and some lime juice.
Yeah,
Get your fucking Sprite
Grey
away
Goose
from my
and
vodka.
RC Cola.
No, we're not friends if that ever happens. Especially Grey Goose. Are you kidding me?
But so, I was talking to her, it quickly ramped up into like, oh, you're on field with your friend. Are you just doing that for fun, or are you two looking together or anything like that? And she was like, I mean, we're open to exploring together if things seem right and all that, and just continuing other conversations while we're at it. And I was like, oh, really? Because if you guys were into it, and if she and I find each other attractive, it could be fun to explore the three of us. Although I just started talking to this first girl.
Diplomatic threesome setup I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a gentleman.
Yeah, you're not getting banned for this.
No, so I was basically just like, hey, if it's something you're into, that's cool. If not, I'd be happy to get together with you. You're very cute. All this shit. And she left me on red for the night.
Unread or
on red?
On red.
I had left her my. I was like, what's your Snapchat? And because I'm a fucking creep, I still use Snapchat. That's also another way to think. I'm not going to get too far down this road, but people really look down on Snapchat. Yes, I'm using it to get nudes. I'm a single dude in my late 20s. Who gives a fuck?
I fucked up with this one girl. The only Uber interaction I've ever had.
Yeah.
I'm a bartender, but I do drive Uber Eats. But anytime I tell anybody I drive Uber Eats, they assume
You're
that
Dominican?
I'm making no money bartending.
Oh yeah, that sounds right.
They're like, oh, bar must not be paying well. It's like, has it ever occurred to you that I just want even more money?
Yeah.
That like it's a very convenient way to make extra money.
Yeah.
But Uber's just so associated with like lazy Gen Zers, like, oh, I can make $20 an hour driving and then lose it all on car repairs anyways because I'm dumb.
Lazy Gen Zers in New York, I always associate it with like migrants,
a lot of immigrants,
because it's all migrants on bikes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was talking to this girl, and it quickly ramped up. I left her. She left me. She didn't respond because it was late, and I was like, I get into this hole. So I had said, you know, if you want to have a threesome, it could be fun. Otherwise, it's totally cool. What's your Snapchat?
Yeah.
Then...
Oh, let me quickly interject, though.
Yeah.
There's one Uber Eats delivery I made.
Yeah.
And a girl literally texted me in the app, like, hey, I think your profile picture is really cute.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sounds like a fucking... Either I'm about to be raped by a middle-aged man who's pretending to be a woman.
Nice.
Or that would be great. For different reasons.
Yeah.
Or this is like straight out of a porno.
Sure.
Right? And I got there and she was this like cute 20-something-year-old Asian girl.
Yeah.
And we were like kind of flirting. I'm like, can I have your number? She's like, you can have my Snapchat.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't have Snapchat. So then like
You should get Snapchat.
we swapped Instagrams and nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
But I was like, I considered downloading Snapchat just for, well, I don't know how, like, what is Snapchat for?
You only use it for nudes.
What even is it?
It's a messaging service that you can send either written messages or photo messages. They both expire either right after viewing or after 24 hours, depending on your settings.
That's right. That's right. I remember it being popular with like shock videos.
Yeah.
And also in high school.
In
people
high
would
school.
make weird shit.
Everyone would use it in high school, not only for nudes, just for conversation. It was like a young kid thing. Nowadays, it's only for nudes, pretty much, as far as I'm aware.
Well, there's probably still like dumb fucking teenagers who are like will do a little dance.
Oh yeah, there's some dumb people who do that. I have some friends who will just post like a random thing that they would post to their Instagram stories. They'll post it on their Snapchat stories. Similar shit.
Do people get a ton of followers on Snapchat?
No, it's not a social media service, really.
Gotcha. So you couldn't even really use it for marketing or your comedy per se.
It's a messaging service that has like a discover feed for like news stuff.
So for older people, there's just a lot of nude exchange probably.
Yeah, that's really the only reason I could see someone using it. I have a friend whose younger brother just graduated high school, and he Snapchats all day long, and he just sends a picture of like the top of his head and like a short message.
Yeah.
And sends like, no kidding, like 100 to 200 a day.
He sounds very autistic.
Not. He's like, he goes to a good sports school. He's messaging like 50 women.
Okay.
There's like, well, not women, but he's messaging like 20 female friends of his around his age.
So it's like a cute way to keep in touch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think kids still use it.
Send dick pics.
Yes. Kids still use it the way we used it in high school. Adults seem to only use it for nudes. So with younger people
back to
generally.
Your field story then.
So I sent her my Snapchat and I said the thing about, hey, if you want to have a threesome, could be fun. No response. I'm high. I'm watching The Godfather 2. I'm paranoid.
Classic.
Classic
This
night.
is what you do when you ask for threesomes.
Exactly. I was pausing Godfather to send these sexts. Yeah. And then, I'm watching more Godfather. I'm high. And I'm like, I haven't gotten a response as quickly as I did for the last few messages. Maybe I should say, because this is why I am a criminal double texter.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm bad at that.
Me too.
The reason being, I'm trying to guess what you're thinking and where I fucked up that led to this thing.
And then correct before it's too late.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it comes off as desperate, which...
We've all been there.
It's not desperate, but it's also not desperate. It's just like, hey, I want this to happen. I'm going to try to get ahead of the ball, ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So I know what I sent could be interpreted a certain way.
Yeah, and just trying to figure out whether or not they're still like, hello, are you still here?
Yeah,
like,
or
should
even
I just delete this conversation.
Yeah, it's like if they're in bed for the night, that's one thing, but it's also just like, is what I just said something that's going to make you not respond in the future and just ghost me?
Right.
So I'm trying to get ahead of the curve.
Your dying breath before they ghost you. Yeah.
Exactly. So
By the way, I'm not creepy.
My first message back was, if you don't have Snapchat, that's cool. I could also just send you my number.
Yeah.
Second message. Because the problem with double texting is it's not just one text then another. The way people often text is 4 messages in a row as one text.
Yeah.
With 4 different points.
Yeah.
So my first point, I double texted I asked the Snapchat, and I was like, if you don't have Snapchat, I could also send you my number. Thinking that I was getting ahead of the curve. No response. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's the other thing. Maybe it's the fact that I said we should have a threesome and didn't leave room really for her to pose. How about just us first?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if you don't want to do a threesome too, that's totally cool.
Right.
We could just get together the 2 of us first. I think you're very cute. You seem very fun and chill.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm like, I'm not double texting anymore.
Yeah.
But
you did enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I left it being like, this might be the end of this, but it also might not be.
Right.
And I get that kind of paranoia a lot that leads to double texting.
Double texting's better than triple and quadruple texting.
Technically, it's a triple text.
Oh God!
Because I responded to 2 double texts, or I double texted for 2 points.
You've been with multiple girls who have borderline personality disorder.
At least 2, I think.
Have you ever gotten like a novel's worth of texts in the morning?
Oh
like one of those? Yeah.
do I say this publicly? My first real relationship, that was like a year and a half, a year and 3/4. When we broke up, I'd tried to break up.
You don't have to, by the way.
I don't mind talking about it.
Okay.
Because
Because it's water under the bridge.
Of course. The thing is, she still cares, but I don't care because this was 9 years ago. At which point, I think it's fair fucking
Shout
game.
out to all my BPD girls out there.
All you
my BPD
BPDs.
baddies. I'm here for you. I'm a good, I'm an
he's
open
a,
book.
He's a BP daddy.
Please, God, no, anything but that.
Anyway, so I tried to break up with her after a year together. She had her dad drive an hour to pick her up, drive an hour back to drop her off at my house without telling me.
Yeah.
I had already broken up with her over the phone and said, or over FaceTime or whatever, and said I didn't want to continue the conversation. She shows up at my door, cries, I fold, I'm 18, and we proceed to date and try to make things work for another 9 months, which is worth it. I mean, it felt decently worth it. We tried. After that, I was like, I know what happened last time. I'm going to fold if I do this in person. I have to do this over a less emotional form of communication for my sake.
Right.
So I sent an email.
Ooh.
Long email.
Breaking up by email.
Rough.
Old school.
But also I wanted
Like
to
the
explain
Pilgrims.
everything.
Yes.
I didn't want any questions.
You should have wrote a letter. Send a messenger pigeon.
I still have a lot of her responses via email. But she called about 100 times.
Oh, no.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like, it was 90 to 110, something like that.
I have OCD, and that would make me so paranoid. That would drive me insane.
That's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
She sent about 100 texts, about 100 Facebook messages.
Yeah.
About this is both 100 texts and 100 Facebook messages.
Talk about double texting.
Yeah.
This is Centurion texting.
She called my best friend from childhood.
Yeah.
And
why isn't he responding?
And then, yeah, exactly. What happened, he didn't know because he didn't know I broke up with her.
Yeah.
And then he called me and said, hey, is everything good with this? And I was like, it's fine. Ignore it.
Yeah.
Many, many, many more messages a week later being like, I shouldn't tell you that. A week later being like, I made changes in my life. We could try to do this again. And I was like, clearly you do not understand what I said. Like, you didn't read. She probably did read it, but psychologically overwrote it with whatever she was going through.
Yeah. Also, if you're sending 100 phone call, you're just not a mentally stable person at the moment. You could be.
Which is part of the changes she made. She made changes in the name of becoming more mentally stable, which she thought would help. But
yeah. But that is a surprisingly common story. I've known multiple people over the years who've gotten broken up with.
I also want to say quickly, it wasn't her fault. It was just irreconcilable differences between personalities. It wouldn't have ever worked. And
you're both very young.
Yeah, we were extremely young, taking it way too seriously. Talks of engagement, stuff like that after a year and 3/4. And it's like, we were just not meant for each other. That's all it was. It wasn't anything personal on either of our ends.
But
I think she's happy now with somebody else.
There are people, when they're in that state of emotional distress, they just can't put the phone down.
Yes.
They're just like, if I just text more.
Which has been me in many other relationships. I was that with my previous relationship, who I guess didn't think it was a relationship at all because she was seeing another guy more seriously who she was having sex with for the entire time we were dating. But she was telling me she loved me and that she was just with me and didn't tell me anything about it.
I didn't even know that. She was shooting behind your back.
For 6 months. And literally was dating him before we got together. They were on the rocks when we were together.
Yeah.
But they were still fucking. Oof. And they were still in love.
Yeah.
And she told me she would go to hang out with him, but not who he was.
Right.
Really.
That'll create long-lasting trust issues.
Yeah,
that'll
and
fuck
I was
you up a little bit.
I was in Austria when I found out.
Yeah,
and I really went in on the double texting.
Yeah, but probably still not that crazy.
Not that crazy, but I did sneak out of my parents' apartment at night when I was 17 doing this.
Yeah,
I went to at like 2 in the morning. I went to Austria is weird. I went to this street nearby in the old city of Salzburg, and in some odd hotel, they had an iPad on the second, like you walk into an alley, you go up a staircase, you're in this outdoor part of a hotel. I went up there because you could just walk in. They have an iPad mounted on the wall. I sign into my Facebook on the iPad, and I'm messaging her from that. Because I only had access to Wi-Fi at certain locations, and I didn't have a device at the time because it was when I was too young.
Brutal.
Super brutal.
Yeah.
So I was up all night there.
If it makes you feel any better, I know a dude who has been living with a girl for like 10 years. They bought a house together.
Yeah.
So they're co-signed on the mortgage.
Wow.
And the dude has put like a lot of money in this house. The girl wasn't working for like a long period of time. So like he's put most of the money into it. And they were talking about maybe getting married or whatever. And he just found out that she's been cheating on him and supposedly in love with a different man for like 5 years.
Wow.
Like literally he caught her sending texts of like I'm really in love with you, like I'm not in love with you with the guy who I'm living with.
Oh
like,
my god.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, but it just raises the question, like, how do you get into that situation?
I've been through a lot of small versions of that.
Yeah.
I've been in relationships where, like, one of my exes, after the one that I was talking, after the long double texter.
Yeah.
The next relationship I got into, I was very hesitant to get back into another relationship. So we started off just hooking up. And then over time she was like, I really like you. I think she said I might be in love with you. And I was like, I don't know if I feel that way yet.
Yeah.
Let's hold off. I don't want to actually start a new relationship yet. Then over time I was like, I convinced myself in the next week. I was like, you know what? I actually think I will give this a try. Then like 2 weeks later, she was like, how do you feel about opening it up so I could fuck this other guy I'm thinking about?
Like,
and I was just like, I
bitch.
just convinced myself to do this. And now you're just like, man, maybe not.
Yeah, dude. It's tough. I mean, I think the best policy for safeguarding your emotions in relationships is just, I mean, it goes to a broader life philosophy, which is like, there's a fine line between having trust issues and just also understanding logically that you can never fully trust anything. You can never fully predict anything.
Yes.
Like, you have to be open to the fact that your absolute certainty over a situation could be flawed. Things can change. And it can't be the end of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it will fuck you up.
Well, that's the thing, is like, you have to be fine without them.
Mm-hmm.
I like what Patrice would always say about this, although I don't agree with every part of his female philosophy. He always had this attitude of like, and he might take it a little bit too far, where he's just like, if she ends up wanting to leave you, your attitude should be good.
Yeah.
You should be like, oh, good.
Oh, 100%.
It will be so much easier without this. And I will be so much happier without it. But I'm choosing to do this because I love you.
Yeah. It just gets tricky. It gets hard when you start making like real commitments with somebody. Like if you're living with somebody, you own a dog with somebody.
Well, that's part of the thing. If the dog, own a place. This is why I'm hesitant toward marriage at this point. It's like, there's no reason to sign contracts to maintain a relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, if we do trust each other, that should be enough.
Yeah, I'm totally anti-marriage. I've just seen way too many ugly stories.
Yeah, and it's like, if you want to stay together forever, stay together forever. You shouldn't need a contract to do that.
Yeah,
a
or
contract
at the very least, very thorough prenup.
Yeah, but that also expires after a certain amount of time.
I think you can re-up it
at
some point.
But trying to re-up after 10 years of a marriage is going to be a lot tougher than the first time.
Yeah. How do you feel about, because I've never been in, you have so much more dating experience with me. I've never had like a super duper formal girlfriend. Like, how do you feel about phones in general? Like, basically, like, never go through
She's not
phone.
allowed to have one.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has no electronics.
She gets an abacus only.
Yeah, if she even gets to leave her bedroom, she'll be lucky that day.
I have a payphone installed in our house.
No quarters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Payphones
Great
were...
Led Zeppelin song.
What?
No quarter.
Oh, yeah. I know the name. I've never heard it.
Do you think the healthiest mindset is basically like, never go through my phone and I'll never go through yours?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be that way.
Yeah. I've gone through people's phones. It's not good.
Almost everybody has.
Yeah.
Especially when you're super paranoid. It's like, how do you
I did it
stop
once.
yourself?
I did it once. 50-50, actually. Saw a dick pic from a while ago. Not good.
Yeah.
Said, hey, you want to Netflix and chill? Then, good part, saw a picture of her friend's tits.
Hey!
Hey!
Perks of the job.
Not gonna tell you who it is, ex-girlfriends.
Right. But yeah, it sounds like...
If you think it's you, it's not.
Once you go down that rabbit hole of opening the fund, then it's like... It's a breach of trust.
Yeah.
So you have to trust. That's kind of the bottom is you have to trust.
Yes.
You have to trust, and yet also simultaneously understand that there's always a chance that your trust could be betrayed.
Yeah.
There's no way to,
I have such major trust issues.
Dude, I do too.
It's a real problem.
With people in general.
Oh, yeah.
Not just in romantic situations. Because I've just seen the darkest sides of people. I've worked a lot of tough jobs and seen people exploited, and I got like real fucked up people on both sides of my family.
Yeah.
Like, I've had people who I built up in my brain as like virtuous to the core.
Yeah.
And like, oh, they would never do blank, and then they you find out they're not only they're like a monster. They're like the opposite of what you thought they were.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then it gets down to, could that be me?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Is that me? Are we all fundamentally evil?
Mm.
If I were Lord of the Flies, would I be the guy that's like breaking people's heads open with rocks?
Yeah.
And like taking over the island?
Maybe.
Or would I be the one that's trying to be the diplomat and do the best for everybody and then get my head broken open with a rock?
I'd be Piggy.
We all want to be Piggy. Yeah. But
No, I know what you mean, though. Trust issues, ironically, I don't know if it's irony, but trust issues have come with respect issues for me, too. Like, if I feel like people I trust and respect disrespect me, I'm immediately like, oh, fuck you forever. Even people who I don't trust and respect, if they disrespect me, they're just written off entirely.
interesting.
This recently happened with a friend of mine's roommate, open mic friend, who you know. His roommate, I met him for the first time. And we did a friend's show. We were all hanging out. We went to a bar afterward. I left with another friend. The rest of them hung out with a friend who has a car. They were in the car. They call me 2 hours later. I get home. They call me. And like I just got home after hanging out, whatever. And they're like... The friend who has the car was like, hey, friend's roommate, say what you just said. He's being antagonistic. He's trying to get this guy to say some shit that he was saying in the car about me. Oh, he was trying to get him on the phone saying it to me.
Yeah.
My friend is a straight up antagonist. You could probably guess which friend this is.
Yeah.
He likes fucking with people.
Yeah.
And confrontation.
Roasting people.
Yes. Yeah. He's a big fat guy.
Busting the balls. Yeah.
He's actually lost a lot of weight. I really give it to him. But he was instigating shit, which is fine. I actually have no problem with that. I know he likes starting shit. That was funny. I get it. That's fine.
We roast the ones we love.
Exactly.
And the ones we hate, but also the ones we love.
Absolutely. My problem is more this guy who was talking shit behind my back.
Right.
First of all, I don't know him.
Yeah.
Second of all, he's talking shit to my friends about me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was with him earlier. Say that to my face if you feel that way.
100%.
Also, he was talking shit about my comedy, and he's not a comic. He's never done comedy.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you really have no leg to stand on here.
Right.
As to your criticisms or as to why you would be making them without me there.
Maybe in his defense, though, because there's a tasteful and obviously disrespectful way to critique somebody or give your honest opinion.
And be ball busty versus actually being like,
Right.
fuck that guy. Or
But you
he
got
sucks.
the impression that he was just like throwing you under the bus, trouncing your reputation for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, it was the kind of thing where, like, to get into the breakdown of it, there was a bad show. 5 audience members, 6 comics, 7 comics. Nobody's doing well, and that's fine.
Yeah.
This guy's in the audience. I get there. I see him shortly beforehand when everybody's barking. They're advertising tickets outside the show. We go in. I forget who he is. I forget that he's my friend's roommate because he's just one of the audience members. I go up. I do my set. I say something at some point during my set, and he goes, "Yeah!" And I was just like, "Yeah, this guy. Yeah, he gets it." And like jokingly, and then whenever I'd say something else that was kind of whack, I'd be like, "Right," and then he'd be like, "Yeah," and then I did it like 3 times, and at the last one he was just like, "Yeah," like it was just like a playful back and forth.
Yeah.
And fast forward to later on, my general impression, which has been confirmed by the people who were there, who are my friends, he was basically being like, dude, that guy fucking bombed on that show. Literally everyone was bombing. It was a 5-person show.
Right.
And it's like, out of the people who were bombing...
you weren't even the worst.
No, it's not like I was an embarrassing bomb. It was just whatever. It's another fucking day in the bomb fest.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, especially for him to play along like that. He might have been doing it in a tongue-in-cheek, like...
Well, he seemed playful. He seemed playful about it. But apparently what he was saying was like, oh yeah, he bombed and I had to save him. Mm. And I'm just like, first of all, I chose to interact with you. I was cueing you to say things. That is me being funny.
Yeah.
Through you, this interaction. Like, I was hosting this interaction and he's just like, it's all me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you're a fucking retard.
Sounds like an egotistical prick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was also aggressively trying to fuck one of the girl comics on the show, and like asking all the guys at the bar afterward, like, "Dude, please."
Is she single?
He's like, "Yeah, dude, please give me her number."
Does she like Italian guys?
Will you not even Italian? Fucking worse.
How dare you?
I'll let you decide what worse is.
Greek,
French.
God.
But he fucking he was like aggressively trying to get her number. He was like asking all of us if we would give. Like DM her for him or call her for him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're a fucking horn dog. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
You're like, you already made a move and she was creeped out by you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go ruin my relationship with a peer.
Yeah.
Because you're some fucking horny dumbass.
Right.
And
but I don't see the problem there. You started off by saying like, "Oh, I have like an issue with like people who disrespect me."
I have vitriol against this guy because I felt disrespected by him talking shit behind my back.
And you feel like you maybe have an unhealthy level of vitriol.
It's the kind of thing where something, not even, it's something like that. It's just like, you are forever written off in my book.
Mm. But I think that's, well, yeah, that gets to a broader question of, is it okay to forever write people off?
And that is the only thing I call into question about it.
Right.
It's like, I do feel justified in my feeling disrespected, but I also am like, listen, if you say this guy's a good guy, I might give him another chance.
Right.
But also, like, I expect, at the very least, a legitimate apology for that.
Well, it gets to the, like, the prison thing. People who commit, like, really fucked up offenses or whatever. Yeah. What's the expression? Something along the lines of, can people change, basically? Yeah. Like, can people, I don't know.
Can you be rehabilitated?
Yeah, something like that. And, but I really think it depends on the offense. Because there are some offenses that speak directly towards levels of sociopathy or selfishness. Like, other things are things where it could be coming from insecurity, it could be coming from desperate. And if a guy like that, like, genuinely apologized to you at some point in the future.
That would be different. I'd have to reconsider.
But also, like, it's just an issue with overgeneralization, right? But it's like overgeneralizations aren't in, like, there are statistical probabilities to them. Yeah. Right? So, like, most guys like that are probably bad guys and probably always will be bad guys. Yeah. So it's like, to protect yourself and to kind of then, you know, should you basically, for efficiency's sake, just be like, yeah, that's probably not a good guy. You know? You're not necessarily, like, playing God and making an absolute moral judgment. No. But you're just being like, I don't like guys like that. And I think guys like that are more pathological than people realize. Yeah. I noticed that a lot, too. Like, there's so many guys I've known where, like, I always thought they were an asshole. Yeah. And nobody else thought they were an asshole until they did something really fucked up. Yeah. And then all of a sudden everyone's like, can you believe? And I'm like, yeah, I can believe. They're an asshole.
There were small hints all along.
Like, being an asshole is not a far cry from, like, beating the shit out of your girlfriend. No. Or sexually harassing somebody or stealing from somebody. Like, it stems from a general, like, willingness to bend ethics and do things that harm other people. Yeah, specifically when you know that you're probably not going to suffer from consequences. Yeah. Such as when you're talking shit behind someone's back. And yet I would also want grace if I ever did something really messed up. I wouldn't want to be never forgiven.
No, I agree. But I would also be
don't
quick.
Do things that are that fucked up.
No, I'd be quick to apologize.
Yeah.
I would be like, yeah. I would be very quick to apologize.
I think that's really what it boils down to, is like the lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
You know? Because there are people with anger problems who they'll do something that, but they'll be like, I was angry. Now through sober goggles, what I did was messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are other people that are just like, what? I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah.
And it's like, the problem is that you are consistently doing things that are inappropriate and unethical.
It's like Frank Ventangeli in Godfather 2. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Where he's like, he's really drunk and he's talking shit with Michael Corleone. Where he's like, these guys, they're bad. They gotta kill them and all this shit. The Rosado brothers. And then Michael's like, we can't kill them. I'm doing business, etc. And then he leaves and he's just like, everybody's like, are we gonna kill Frank Ventangeli?
Yeah.
And then he's like, nah, he had too much wine. And then, like, the next day, he still goes through and tries to kill him.
Yeah.
If Intangeli does. Yeah. And he's like, I probably should have killed him.
Yeah. I've never seen Godfather Part 2.
Wow.
I've seen Godfather 1.
Multiple times?
Once.
Okay, that's fair.
And I've only seen it once, and I saw it a long time ago.
Yes,
but obviously, I want to say it's overrated, but part of why it's overrated is because it's literally like 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's always on the greatest list. Like, if it's not one of the absolute greatest movies ever, then it's kind of overrated because that's what it's been presented as. And I didn't feel that way.
The tough thing is, like, I hesitate to say overrated or underrated, but it is a great movie.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
like Goodfellas more.
As far as a movie that's watchable for fun, I would agree. Godfather 1 is more of an art piece. It's a film. It's a true film.
Well, that's the people who tell me about Godfather 1 who really nerd out about it. They'll get into, like, the Shakespearean themes and all this.
Well, that shit's gay. It's just a good film. It's just a straight-up good film.
Well, Goodfellas is also a straight-up good film.
But it's very different. It's modern movies. This is like Good, Bad, and the Ugly film.
Yeah, but I don't think that makes it any more substance-filled or any more deep.
No, but I would argue that Goodfellas is like a good movie. I wouldn't call it a film. Like, I wouldn't call it artful. I also wouldn't call Godfather 2 very artful. I'd say that's more of a good movie.
No. I totally see where you're coming from as far as like classic cinema versus stuff that's like. But I wouldn't go as far as say that Goodfellas isn't artful because it's a Scorsese pick. You know what I mean? I mean he's putting.
I do always forget that
he's putting real painstaking effort into curating a picture. I just thought that the point of Godfather and the point of Goodfellas, they both seemed to be movies about the mob.
Yes.
Right? Movies about the kinds of people who are in the mob, movies about mob ethos. And to me, Goodfellas felt more like the quintessential mob film.
Funny enough, I was going to say the same word for Godfather.
Really? Yeah.
I was going to say it seems to be the quintessential mob movie.
Interesting.
But I also hadn't seen Godfather for about 12 to 15 years before watching it 2 nights ago.
Okay,
and it really put it in a different perspective.
Yeah.
Part of it was I watched it with subtitles, which I had never done when I was younger. I'd only watched it part 1 and 2 without subtitles once when I was younger. Watching it with subs, there's so much detail to the story that I didn't pick up on because it's all in heavy Italian accents and shit like that.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated it more because of that.
There are people who say that the book it was based on, too, adds a lot to it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. It's also like old mob versus new mob, and
that's part of it.
60s filmmaking versus
70s. Godfather's 72, 71.
Okay, well, it's right on the border. Yeah. Whereas Goodfellas is like more modern.
Interestingly enough, I often hear people like Godfather 2 more than 1, and I preferred
that's the
1.
Thing. I have to see Godfather 2.
Yes.
Because that does seem to be the general narrative.
I don't know if I only enjoyed 1 more because I watched them on back-to-back nights. And I was kind of a little exhausted by the second one.
Yeah.
But the first one really hit for me.
Yeah. I'm going to rewatch it for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Goodfellas seemed like Scorsese was like, okay, the Godfather was like, that was the groundbreaking, let's open the topic. And then Scorsese was like, all right, let me actually like perfect this and get to the bottom of it.
Part of why I feel so strongly about 1 versus 2 and 1 versus Goodfellas is because Marlon Brando
It's
is
incredible.
incredible.
Oh, yeah.
He is probably the best actor I've ever seen. I've watched a lot of old movies.
Yeah.
He's probably, if not the best, he's among the best. He's the sense of realism you get from him surpasses any other actor I've ever seen. Watching Pacino and De Niro after that in Godfather 2, it's like, whatever. You guys are fine.
Yeah.
But
Brando's
Brando,
a different ball
he's a
game.
different beast.
Yeah.
He's so himself.
Well, he's one of the most...
And if not himself, he's real.
Universally respected by his peers as well.
Yes.
You know.
And I mean, you've seen like On the Waterfront.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all his films, though.
Nor I've never seen Streetcar.
How do you feel about his range? Because it's you know, it's
probably very limited.
That's the thing. We grade actors on different protocols. I feel like there's different types of great actors.
Well, this is, I would argue, the same for stand-up. I would say my favorite stand-ups are the ones that are most themselves.
Right.
And so Marlon Brando's lack of range might also be a credit to the fact that he really capitalizes on doing the thing he does well. Which, you could argue that a great actor is capable of much more range, but also maybe they don't reach the same heights within the things they do well.
Yeah, I think it's just a different type of acting.
Yeah.
You know, you know, range almost gets into the realm of impersonating, right? Like, is Frank Caliendo a great actor?
Yeah.
Because he can do a perfect Charles Barkley impression?
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I do
Is
think...
Shane the best actor because he does a great Trump?
Yeah. Shane should have got the Oscar for that. But yeah, I think that it takes more technical skill to have range, for sure. To be able to do... to completely morph yourself into different things, it requires more... and a lot of those types of guys come from the stage. A lot of them are classically trained English actors.
And funny
like a lot
enough,
of the best ones.
If we're grading actors, that might be the epitome of the acting skill, is to do something so far from what you are well.
Right.
As opposed to doing something that you are well.
But you could have a separate and I think equally valuable scale.
Separate but equal. I love that.
In many different aspects of society.
Or just one.
Yeah. All about separation.
You gotta keep
not
them
segregation,
separated.
just separation.
Yeah.
But kidding.
Dude, a friend of mine has such a good bit about desegregation, and I don't want to give away the bit, but it's desegregation being really rough on businesses that made segregated things.
Yeah. It's a good premise. Just that alone.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do it word for word.
You don't think I have to bleep that, do you?
No.
Okay. Not even because it's bad. Mostly I just want to give away a guy's premise.
Yeah.
If somebody already has that premise, this is noted today.
Yeah.
Don't fucking take it.
No, I think that's vague enough.
You gotta keep them separated.
But yeah, that's one form of acting is being able to morph into something you're not. But then I think another form of acting is just being able to be expressive.
Yes.
Right. That's more the creative aspect of it. That's less of the skill and it's more of the personal expression.
Which
how do
at
you
that
make
point,
people feel really strong emotion through your performance?
Which at that point, if you're an artist, if acting is an art to you, what is the greater sign of an artist? How skilled they are at their instrument, or how excellently they perform?
Gets to the definition of art, right?
Yeah.
Is somebody who can make a baller chair, somebody who makes chairs, is that the same as Salvador Dali?
Yeah. You know, this is something I often notice in music when comparing jazz and funk specifically.
Yeah.
Funk made by Americans in the 70s is so much more soulful than funk made by the Japanese in the 80s, which is a genre I love.
Yeah.
Specific Japanese funk and city pop from the 80s.
For sure.
It is I would argue it's way more proficient, technically.
Yeah.
They're probably much better instrumentalists.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, and some of them are incredibly expressive as well.
Right.
But by and large, it is more rigid.
It's not the same as Parliament Funkadelic.
No, that's so much more loose. It's so much more felt than it is perfectionistic.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that Salvador Dali is he is more creative and expressive than somebody who makes a beautiful chair.
Yeah.
Maybe not objectively so, but you can only communicate so much with a chair.
Yeah.
No matter what you do to the chair, you can only... Unless you paint a Salvador Dali painting on the chair.
Yeah.
Okay. Patented! Marcel Duchamp, where's my fucking Salvador Dali chairs at? Brooklyn hipsters.
Dollies.
Start selling that on street corners. People think I'm a fucking best shit since sliced bread. Probably not. I probably have to become a Marxist.
You should paint Salvador Dali's on doors and call it Salvadors.
That would also be good.
Yeah.
That would be a great business. I should pitch that on Shark Tank.
Maybe I'll just make an AI meme out of it.
We should just have a punning podcast.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Dude, it would be a problem.
You're like, actually, that's my dream.
Yeah, my brain just goes that way.
But no, a chair, like if you make a beautiful chair, it can certainly be emotive. It can certainly, but it can't express things as specifically as a poem.
Yeah.
Ideas, thoughts. And that's with acting too. Like the greatest acting performance I think I've ever seen to date, and there are many close competitors. It's The Rock in Moana.
The Rock and Moana.
Yeah.
The Rock and Fairy Tale, or whatever it is. Not Fairy Tale. The Tooth Fairy.
Tooth Fairy. Yes.
The Rock and Jumanji.
Yeah. Those are the three. They're tied.
Yeah.
They're separate but equal.
Yes.
But no, Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood is
tied for
it changed the way I thought about acting in some ways.
Sure.
That movie, it's a great movie. It's a great screenplay, but that movie, he was just his performance alone. It was such an essential part of what made that movie as good as it could possibly.
Of course.
Be. And so much of what went into him making that character was him as a creative person.
Yeah.
And him as an artist.
Yeah.
He was not getting meticulous notes from Paul Thomas Anderson.
No.
Paul Thomas Anderson was like, this is the character archetype, and you be Daniel Day-Lewis. You bring whatever you want.
Yeah.
And he created a character block by block.
It's like Jack Nicholson in The Departed.
I haven't seen The Departed.
It's a laughable metaphor.
It's like Jack Nicholson in Batman.
It's like one of the most ridiculous Jack Nicholson roles, where it's just like Scorsese's just like got his hands tied. He's like, I guess he's let him say what he wants to say.
Yeah, his 3 sheets to the wind.
He's like,
another good
heavy
example.
Lies the crown. It's one of the famous ones, and the other one's like, here we got a rat.
White man's burden. From The Shining.
Yeah, I love that line from The Shining and the line from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where he's like talking about how he like couldn't stop himself from that 14-year-old girl's red snapper.
One of the best movies ever, by the way, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I haven't seen it since our psychology class in high school.
You should rewatch. It's great.
I could see doing
Some people
that.
say the book's even better.
Yeah. Book people.
Readers.
Yeah. Readers.
But yeah, that performance, it was so creative because that character he's clearly not trying to impersonating anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's clear, like he does. And he why he's one of the greatest actors. He can do both. He can do all of the above.
Yeah.
Like he's had roles where he's had to be like he played Christy Brown in My Left Foot, where he won the Academy Award. He had to play. It's a terrible movie, but an amazing acting performance. I forget. It was a true story of this somewhat well-known Irish playwright who I think like he either had no arms or his arms didn't work. He had to write with his left foot. Doesn't this sound like the best movie ever?
I think I know a Family Guy reference to this, if I'm not mistaken, where Stewie's singing, My left foot.
Makes sense.
Something like that.
Funnily enough, one of the first times my mother ever met our mutual friend Noah.
Yeah.
Noah came over our house, and within 5 minutes of coming, she was like, because I told her that he was going to NYU acting school.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you're an actor? You have to watch this performance. And she just put in my left foot.
Oh my God.
And we sat there in awkward silence for 10 minutes watching my left foot while she was like, isn't this fantastic?
Oh my God. That's like how I feel when people come up to me and they're like, do you know this comic, Matt Rife or whatever?
Louis C.K.? Have you ever seen him?
Well, at least that's like gratifying on the other end.
Yeah.
But it's always like, did you know this comic, Hannah Gadsby?
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
she's amazing.
wow.
Kate Notes. Yeah.
Do you know Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yeah. Hey, I liked some Bobcat Goldthwait jokes.
I have nothing against him. He's a
Yeah.
weird guy is all.
Yeah, very, very flash in the pan.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever give a shit again.
Very flatulent. Maine loves him. He's like the darling of Maine.
There's a couple darlings of Maine.
This sounds like a Maine thing.
Maine's a fucking weird-ass state.
Yeah.
Weird people. But yeah, for that movie, DDL.
Not BBL?
Which sounds like, you know, some type of customizable penis that I want to buy.
Well, BBL's a Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, I know. I've seen a few of those, I think.
I see a lot of those. The girls who work
In the
at
city?
the Tiny Cupboard. Not at the Tiny Cupboard. The girls who work in the nail salons around it.
Yeah.
Half of them got BBLs.
That's BBL. How do you... You know what? Before I ask this, Daniel Day-Lewis...
Yeah, finish that.
For my left foot, he had to really be this guy.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he did, it was like a perfect... Lincoln is another good example,
yeah.
right? He's doing an Abraham Lincoln impression, essentially.
You keep talking, I gotta check the phone.
And he's doing it really well. But There Will Be Blood, that's a whole nother ballgame. I mean, that's him really creating a type of character that didn't exist before in such a masterful way.
Yeah.
But that to me is like that is the highest expression of acting for me. It's more creative. It's more of it's more of an artist as opposed to a skill.
Yes.
Just trying to get as close to something as possible.
Yeah.
Rather than creating something that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't have to be all one or the other. Like Heath Ledger's Joker. He was clearly, there were parameters around, okay, you gotta sound and look and act kind of like the Joker is supposed to sound and look and act.
I didn't even know that it was straying at all from it, because he was really my first Joker.
But there were prior Jokers.
I know, I'd never seen any of them,
Yeah.
so that's the only one I ever referenced.
And all the Jokers they're reminiscent of each other in their mannerisms. But Heath's clearly is so much better. And it's so much better because, again, of what he's bringing to the role.
Yeah.
You know, of what he's creating as an artist.
That makes sense.
He's creating that character. But how do you know a BBL is a BBL?
It's unnatural.
I feel like there's got to be it's kind of like fake tits.
So say this microphone is a normal butt.
Mm-hmm.
Or say this part's the butt. This actually looks like a butt.
I'm already aroused.
It's coming out like that. This is a BBL butt. There's it's like
a shelf.
I was gonna say there's a shelf.
Yeah.
It's like you got leg and then you got shelf.
Yeah.
And the shelf starts the butt, and the butt's just fucking out.
Right.
It literally looks like this.
I've definitely seen some asses that are very likely BBLs.
Yeah.
But I've also seen some beautiful, borderline perfect asses.
But these are not beautiful or borderline perfect. These are
hard.
like it's like cellulite covered and like they look hard but also like malshapen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just misshapen, I guess is the word. But
malshapen. Yeah.
I like throwing different prefixes on things.
They got malware.
But
those BBLs.
They have methylescalin in their butts.
That would be wild.
It's a mescaline analog. That's a research chemical mescaline derivative.
We got it.
Not anymore. I flushed it down the toilet. Actually, it was in one of these. I think it was in this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these are 3 empty vials that had drugs in them.
That at all.
I'm getting rid of some of my supply that I...
Don't get high.
I actually have no supply at all, but I'm getting rid of some of it.
I bet they're getting better at the BBLs though.
Well,
I
if you
bet
got enough money, they're probably fine.
there's probably some that could fake you out if they're clothed. Like fake tit. Like I can spot it. Like in porn, you always know when a tit's fake.
Yeah.
But when they're wearing a shirt,
I still
you
often
don't
know.
You often know.
Yeah.
Especially if they're older.
Yeah.
Like if you see like a 45-year-old woman with perfectly perky tits.
Even if they're young, dude, it's so
Even if they're 12.
Even if they're 4. Just bigger than they should be.
You just accuse somebody's daughter of having fake tits. You're like, really? You're going to pay for your child to have fake tits? Yeah. They're too perfect. They can't be real.
Or just accuse somebody's daughter of being trans. Yeah. Like 4-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Just be like, come on, you really gave them hormones this early?
Yeah, are you serious?
Yeah, you
just
really...
a normal-looking girl.
Yeah.
Fun
I get it's getting better and better every year. It looks fine, but come on.
You did a great job.
Yeah.
But she's too young to choose.
This must have cost thousands of dollars. But, whatever. I don't believe in it, but good job, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, man. I don't know, as an ass man, the BBL thing, and I will say, I love asses and titties.
Yeah.
Like, almost equally. I'm very much an equal, but at the end of the day.
Finally someone says it.
If I had to choose.
Yeah.
If I had to have a girl who was completely flat-chested but had a nice ass.
Yeah.
Or a shovel ass with a perfect rack.
Yeah.
I'll take the A cups.
Yeah,
if
same.
I had to.
All day.
If
same.
I had to.
I'm more of an ass man.
But I'm very flexible. I'll date all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
I would date. I could date a fat chick.
Well, that makes one of us.
As long as she's not too fat. There's a fine line. I could date a girl who weighs more than me.
What's this? Some old Chinese proverb that's like an ugly wife is a treasure in the home.
You're quoting Sam Hyde right now.
Is that what it was? Yeah, I knew I saw that recently.
Yeah, it was Sam Hyde.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm happy I'm quoting Sam Hyde. That's fine.
He says, an ugly wife is a treasure in the home.
Sam Hyde's where I get all my Chinese proverbs.
Yeah, literally. All my Confucius.
I'm more of a Lao Tzu guy. Lao Tzu.
Are you really?
No, I think I'm more of a Taoist. At this point, I think Taoism is basically the spiritual version of Stoicism, and I'm a Stoic.
That makes sense.
So I don't think Taoism is legit, but I do think Stoicism is
I would imagine
good.
it ties into Buddhism then as well.
It's close.
Yeah.
They've got differences, similar to how Confucianism has differences from both.
I don't know whether I'm going to have to step away to throw up or not.
Really?
Yeah.
From the kratom?
Nicotine mints.
Oh,
yeah.
Drink more water and let it have some time.
Can we pause?
Sure. We should probably pause to charge shit anyway.